welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to Z Daddy's Garage. I now have a shirt, and this is the first rendition. This is not the logo that I intend to keep forever, but a good buddy of mine threw this together for me, and that's what we've been using on the videos and everything else. So, I got shirts. Eventually, I'm going to wind up with merch, whether I make them in this logo or wait until I get the new one made. Don't really know, haven't decided yet, but we are back today. It's been at least a month since I've been over here to film anything at this point. I've done very little work anyways and haven't filmed anything. There's been a lot of things going on with life personally, work stuff and other things like that. So we're having a good time. We're gonna have to keep an open mind as to the future of the project. I will have it done before Biloxi, that's not a problem, but I may not be able to get the big block done. So like I said, there was some work issues and I'm not 100% sure how money is gonna pan out from this point forward. But we're gonna keep playing with it. I may wind up having to put the small block back in, but I am gonna do my best to get my T56 in the truck. So that way I'll at least have the 6-speed, and at a later date I can finish up the big block and put it back in. Along with the big block, I still get to get a hold of a machine shop that can get me in anytime soon to check the heads, deck the heads, and install cam bearings. So there's another hold up for that as well. But we are back over here today. We're going to finish the one patch on the back of the passenger fender that I had mentioned. I did buy those from CJ's Pony Parts. We're gonna finish welding that up, grind it down, and we're probably gonna go ahead and do the Bondo and paint that fender today on camera, is my hope. So bear with me and we'll see what happens. So as you can see, we started this patch. The whole patch actually could have covered that much of the body all the way up here past this line. But like I was running into with this front one, this crease is a little too defined. This is a rolled edge, not a crease. This is a crease. And this is not enough crease. So the patches didn't quite line up right, and nothing up here was rotten anyway. So I elected to just do this bottom section where the actual rot was. So you can see I've got 90% of this welded up. Move some of this stuff. Flip it over and show you what's going on. A little screw on there. So let me make sure you can see that. I'm pretty sure you can. All right, so you can see I screwed up. So this pie cut, even though I laid the patch on and traced everything out, somehow or another that little pie cut wound up wrong. So we're gonna have to make a filler patch for that today, which is no big deal. Oops. Not a real big deal. So we're gonna finish welding that one up. We're gonna grind it down. And like I said, hopefully get this thing in some paint today. That would be fantastic. So let's get suited and booted, shall we? A little too warm for the full leather. Just a little bit. It's actually not that hot today, but it is very humid. We've got rain coming in. Hadn't rained for a month. Probably would have been a great time to come over here and film. So you can hate on me for that. That's fine. Yeah, hadn't rained for a month. Had an extraordinary heat wave last week. Well, yeah, pretty much last week. About the halfway through the third week and into the fourth week of June there was stupid hot. It was 100 and I think the actual temperature was 106, and the real feel had it like 110, 112, something along that line. It was quite warm. Oy. Anywho, let us continue. There was enough of this end of the fender left that I was able to get a good picture of what I wanted. But again, patches just aren't, they're not perfect. I don't expect them to be perfect, but they're not. So the roll is a little bit wrong, and then it's just kind of, yeah. So it's going to take a little bit of massaging down here to get it right. Plus that little pie cut patch, I'm going to have to hammer and dolly this corner down a little bit. This fender, this fender is actually, if you remember, I told the story a while back. I want to falling asleep, run off the side of the road, and jump the truck. Took out 300 feet of barbed wire fence, and when the truck stopped, someone was using a telephone pole as the corner post of the fence. You know, big 8-inch, 10-inch pole, whatever it was, and it was buried 3 feet in the ground or so. I'm actually not 100% sure how I got on top of it, but the thing wound up setting like this. It had hit the bottom of the truck right inside the fender, the inner fender, bent the inner fender, which I don't have laying out here anymore. It bent the inner fender back, pulled this corner of the fender in, and dented the floorboard a little bit. And I hit it hard enough to do that. But this corner of the fender was pulled in, so I've got to pull this back out, get everything straight. That's probably one reason this patch isn't fitting right, but we're gonna make it work. Metal's metal. You can make it do whatever you want it to do. All right, that's everything for the top side. Like I said, getting this in is all the work that I've done in the past month. It's just been a roller coaster of life recently. And since I'm not full-time on YouTube yet, this was not my main focus. But from this point moving forward, it looks like I will be putting my main focus into YouTube. So, you know, help like it, subscribe it, share it with all your friends. We're gonna see if we make this thing work. So, now that I'm here, I need a hammer and dolly. I have a hammer, but not a dolly. Let me grab one. So I was massaging this lip. Let me grab the camera and show you. I'm massaging this. Woo, that's a little out of focus there. Come on, baby. There we go. All right, so I'm massaging this rollover lip so you can see where the originals roll over, and it's spot welded all the way up through here. I'm probably gonna drill me a couple of little holes in here, put my own spot welds in, but I've been massaging this over to make it fit here, and you can see what I'm talking about here with this roll and everything else. This has got to come out. All this has to come up to the point where it will meet this metal here, so I can weld that seam up, and then I've got maybe a patch here and get this massaged out or this in, one of the two, to make everything work. I'm gonna pull it up with a clamp and see exactly what all this looks like after that. But for now, that's what we're doing. We're gonna finish massaging this down, get some tacks up through here, and then start working on this so we don't disrupt anything else. As you can see, excellent penetration all the way around that deal. Welded all the way through, which means I can grind the outside and not have to worry about anything. So that makes me pretty happy. that almost pulled that back up where it's supposed to be, almost. It is gonna take a little massage in there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that'll work out good. Cool. All right, let me weld that up, and then we're gonna worry about this corner. Oh yeah. Now, I don't need this pinch roll right here, so I'm probably gonna get me a grinder and just cut that off. That'll make the outer layer way easier to work with. Hopefully keep it from doing the Watusi, you know what I mean? So let me grab a grinder. Maybe even some safety glasses. That actually looks pretty good. So here's what we're gonna do. Stay. All right, we're gonna take this other piece that I cut off that was supposed to go, you know, there, that I screwed up. And we're gonna take and just cut out a section that was supposed to be there from this piece to put back into there where it's supposed to go. If you're following my drift. I don't know, it may not, I'm not even making any sense to me at this point, so it's fine. See what I could do, get my pencil. Or I could just be cool and act like I know what I'm doing. I think that's the way I'm gonna go first. I think I still need my pencil. It's fine though. I'm just gonna do it this way. Magnets are incredibly handy when you're doing body work. You don't want to get them real hot because they will start to lose their magnetism, but if you're just going to hold something in place and tack it in, oh, magnet can be your best friend. I'm going to work this side down just a little bit more. It's still a little inward. There. This puppy right there. And we're gonna stick this one right there. Give it a little push. Get it seated. Get it flush. Bingo, bango, bongo. Let me show you that before we weld it up. Come on, baby, focus for me. Oh yeah, look at that. Ain't that pretty? Ain't that pretty? Take a look at it from over here. Yes, it's a little pushed out. I gotta massage that back up, but it looks real good. So, that's that. So, let's throw a couple tacks on that one. That sounded dirty. Oh, it's the magnet. I'm stupid, it's fine. I forgot that magnets also interfere with your wavelengths while you're welding. Oh, yeah, baby. Now we can tag it up. Finish tagging it up. Do something. You know what I mean? Cool. All right, since that is such a small piece, we're definitely gonna have to let it fully cool in between welding. But that's the gist of it. So, yeah, we're gonna cut here. I'll come back when I get this done and I'll have a grinder. We're gonna grind this thing off and then we're gonna start mixing some paint. So bear with me, give me a minute. I promise I'll be back. To Z Daddy's Garage. Hey! We have returned. Go ahead and flip this thing over. Finish welding it up. Nice and cool. All that hammer and dolly work. Knock some of the dirt inside the fender loose. That's cool. So, we're gonna grind it. I'm gonna play with a couple of these little bitty dents right here. I didn't realize when I was clamping it before that I had kind of boogered that deal up a little bit, but it's fine. It's fine, it's fine. We're just gonna grind it down. Get some paint. While I'm thinking about it, you may also notice that I did the seam here instead of going all the way around. As you can see, it did come with that lip. Now, there's a reason for that. I don't know how well you can see it, but if you look right here along this seam, there's very, very little of like a double hump. There's not an indentation right in the middle of this. This fender factory has a double roll right here. So there's a pretty obvious seam right in the center of the whole fender lip. The AMD piece had a significant stamp in it. So I was able to continue with that correct look around. This patch did not have it. So instead of cutting out here and wrapping the new patch all the way around, because this wasn't rotten, I just elected to save that lip and weld on the inside of it. So that's why I did that. Now, I do realize that a grinder is probably not the correct way to go about this, but I'm not a body guy. I don't like body work. People like Bad Chad and Jesse James and Boyd Coddington, you know, the guys that can just do this and do it so good, hats off to them, because I don't have the patience to sit here and file this down and make sure that it is perfect. I don't have that kind of patience, and at this point I don't have that kind of time. So while a grinder does generate more heat, can cause some more warpage, it's the fastest way for me to get down to it. And because it's a patch panel and because all of this is not perfect, it's gonna get a skim coated Bondo anyway, so I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna take my body hammer here and ping down these slightly high spots instead of grinding them off. Just because it's easier to build Bondo up than it is to scrape sand metal down. So feels pretty good. This lip is also a little high. I'm not 100% sure why, but feels good. Cool. And that will work for me. So we're gonna get some Bondo. We're gonna do a little bit of mixing. Get us a little skim coat over that hoe. And then probably not gonna make y'all watch me sand this. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, probably not. But we're gonna get some Bondo on this before I cut the camera. That. That flash is a little bit harder. Clean my squeegee off. I should have some plastic squeegees for this, I know, but it's okay. It's what I got right now. So this patch, because of the compound curves in it, did not warp. This one had a little bit of wavy in it. And it may have been partially because it was trapped on 3 sides. So I had the pinch roll, I had the seam here, and it just didn't really have any place to go. You know, as it heats and shrinks and moves and everything else, it's gonna do that number. So skim coat over that, that'll be fine. This one I didn't have to do it, just the seam over which I welded. So we're gonna let this flash and harden. I'm gonna file it, sand it down. So the next time y'all see me, I will be in the paint booth in 3, 2, 1. Here we are in the paint booth. I got everything sanded. I had to get me a little bit of high build primer to fill up a few little pock marks. Again, Bondo, you little air bubbles in it and you can't sand them out. Otherwise you want it too low. So I got high build on this. I also got this section sanded. I got high build on this. So we're gonna go ahead and wipe this thing down and start to get some paint shot. I know that the E-coat that comes on pretty much all of your patches nowadays, that black coating is called an E-coat, an electronic coat. It's basically the same thing as powder coating from what I understand, but instead of it taking heat to stick, it takes an electric charge to like cure and stick to the metal that it's on. So that's kind of cool. I used to deal with that a lot when I worked at a machine shop. I would do motors and gearboxes from a company that we did work for, and they had an E-coat process that I would have to sandblast a lot because, you know, something would be wrong. I'd have to sandblast and send it back. But that was pretty cool. At least I thought. So we're gonna keep the paint line as low as possible. Again, because I want to save as much of the original paint as possible. So I believe I'm gonna mask it somewhere just in this region, to be honest with you. Probably just about a ½ inch above this. I'm gonna have to go back and figure out what I'm gonna do about the chrome around the headlight bezel, or excuse me, around this body line and the headlight bezel, and then there's some white still in there from the outer edges of the grill, are actually the fenders, so I gotta figure all that out again later. Still haven't decided whether I'm gonna go back with white or a cream, but we're still voting on it. Go follow the Instagram and the TikTok, and you get the up-to-date updates, and you can like vote, comment, and vote live on stuff like that. So TikTok and Instagram both at Z Daddy's Garage. Let's get some paint, or excuse me, some tape. Now we're gonna mix some paint. Yeah, you can pretty much see what's going on, but we'll adjust the camera. All right, again, I got this made at a local company called Low Ray, and the guy up there did an excellent job of matching the fade and the color and everything else. Just wound up perfect. I've already shot my cab corners with this, and what else have I shot? I think that's it actually, just the cab corners. And I intend to reshoot the firewall and the block if I get to continue with the big block. If I do the small block, I'm not going to bother with it. But if I get to continue with the big block is also going to get shot in the same color. Firewall, I may redo the bottom of the hood because it kind of looks bad. Unless I get a big tunnel ram intake that I'm hoping to get, in which case I may have to get a cow hood for it anyway. But there should be enough here to do the firewall, the block, other details, pretty much whatever I want to do. I bought a full quart, expecting to touch up some other stuff and or what have you, so. Don't have a paint shaker, although if I get doing much of this consistently, I will probably invest in one. So, actually, sakes this hot. I do not have any additives to put into this. I do have a touch of hardener, which I actually meant to get out. But truly, no, that's for the clear. There it is. No. Anyway, as hot as it is, I'm probably not gonna need it anyway. So, that little bit, yeah, I guess I'll get a filter too. Yeah, so I'm not gonna add anything to this. It's thin paint, so I don't need reducer. I don't need hardener because it is hot, so it's gonna dry pretty quick as is. I'm just gonna get enough in there for 3 coats. Should be fine. Set that back down there. Gonna use a good gun today. I'm also not gonna prime it. Like I said, the E-coat is designed to shoot over. And I'm not incredibly concerned about it, so here we go. Tack coat is just a very, very light coat over the surface that you're spraying. Something that'll flash quick, but give the paint on top of it something to stick to. Now that I got the tack coat on, turn up the flow a little bit. There we go. So we're going to give that just a couple of minutes to kind of flash, and we'll be right back around here to put another layer on. Probably going to do 3, so bear with me. Yep, pretty flashed. All right, so we're going to do coat number 2. Oh yeah. Coat number 2. So we're gonna give this a little bit longer to flash, and whew, man, it looks good. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that looks good. Cool. All right, we'll be back in a few minutes and do coat number 2. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. number 2. Oh, I hope that turns out good. Overall, I'm pretty content with how the weld seams turned out. It's not, I mean, it's not exact, and I probably could have spent a little bit more time playing with it. I don't know what that little pock mark is. That's interesting. Didn't see that when I was prepping it. But no matter. Quick and dirty. That's what I'm going for. Quick and dirty. So, we'll be back in a few minutes for coat number 3. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't put any hardener in this. This definitely drying quick. I think I screwed up though. I completely forgot to sweep the floor right here. And I wound up kicking up some dirt. So that's not ideal, but not something I can fix today if I so choose. So I don't think I'm going to worry about it right now. Yeah. I only get something to put down on the floor right there though, so the next coat I'm getting on it. Yeah, it all looks good. I definitely kicked up a little bit of dust right there. I always sweep the paint booth before I start, and I didn't think about it today. But, no matter. We go ahead and shoot the 3rd coat, see how she looks. I like. So, we're going to give this deal a few minutes to flash over. Go ahead and give us a little zoom in here. Probably just edit all this out. But... So we'll go ahead and give this thing a few minutes to flash over. Unmask it. Get first reactions from me and from y'all. Cool. All right. You should always wait for your paint to dry before unmasking. But I'm lazy and excited and also somewhat pressed for time. So I'm gonna go ahead and peel this thing off, see what she looks like. Not bad. Not bad. It's obviously not quite dry, so it is a little bit shinier than it's going to be when it's all said and done. But I wasn't quite expecting the paint line that I got either. I'm not sure if you can see how pronounced that is. It's a little extreme. So depending on how flat this turns, and like, so let me reiterate, you see all these fingerprints right here? That is all chalk. So once I wash this fender, the colors become way, way closer. This does not look anything like the cab corner right now because this is nasty and it's got chalk and everything else on it. So just from a distance, you can see how close it is. I mean, it is incredibly close. So if you look right there, you can see how good the original is right here, or how good the new one is versus the original there. So you can see how close it is. I'm incredibly happy with how the paint itself matches the original paint. Once it dries, we'll see exactly how shiny this is. And if it's too shiny, then I'm gonna hit this with 4/0 steel wool, kill the shine, kill the sheen. Looks real good though. So I haven't fully figured out exactly what I'm gonna do around in here, but I think that's gonna look excellent when it's all said and done. But we will figure it out on a later episode of Z Daddy's Garage. That's about all I got for y'all today. I will give you an update on the 38 Chevrolet, however. So, like I said, my dad was doing an engine swap in it because the original one had, poured Babbitt bearings and things like that in it that were just wore out. The carburetor was wore out. The whole engine was wore out. It only had, I can't remember what number, but the compression was really low, all this other stuff. So he bought a 1962 model 235 straight six instead of the 216, and everything bolted up pretty doggone good. We had to get a flywheel, we had to machine down the original 62 flywheel to put the 38 ring gear around the flywheel. We also had to modify for the front motor mount. A couple other little odds and ends, but it actually turned out really well. We got it spun over the other day, and it's getting some fire and it's getting some fuel. We haven't fully reconciled all of that yet. So it's not quite running, but it's almost running. Almost. But that's just a quick update on that. Like I said, that pretty much concludes it for this video. Thank you for coming along. Join me on the TikTok, join me on the Instagram, subscribe to me here, share with all your friends. We're gonna make this thing work. Love you, mate.